Hi everyone, my name is Audrey and welcome to my channel. Today I'm giving you my March wrap up.
I can feel the love in your heart. I can see it in the way that you smile. I can feel the love in your heart. I can see it in the way that you smile. Feel the love in your heart. That way that you smile. Feel the love in your heart. That you smile. I can feel the love in your heart. I can see it in the way that you smile. I can feel the love in your heart. I can see it in the way that you smile. Feel the love in your heart. That way that you smile. Feel the love in your heart. That you smile.
different setting today. I decided I was going to sit down with my books to talk to you about my books I read for March. Since February was a shorter month and I actually managed to read 5 books, I gave myself a goal to read 6 books for March. And spoiler alert, I did not succeed to read 6 books. I don't think I ever managed that for the last 3 years since I discovered BookTube and started reading again. So one day, maybe April will be the month where I'll succeed to that. But yeah, I was still very successful and I'm still very happy with my month. So here we go. As usual, I participated in the Buzzwordathon hosted by Books and Lala. And for the month of March, the buzzword was secrets. So any book with the word secret in the title. Also for March, I did have to finish the buzzword for February, which was a verb, any verb in the title. So for February, I read in March the book Slay by Brittany Morris. This one I gave a 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book. It's been on my TBR for a while. It was on my reader and I bought it like a good while ago. I've heard a lot of things about it. So in this one, you follow this young teenager who is pretty much one of the very few Black people or people of color in her high school. And she invents and creates this whole video game for Black people, and it's a safe space for her community all throughout the whole world. And no one knows that she is the creator of this video game. So you have some parts that are from her real life experience at high school with her friends and her teenage life, actually. And you have some other stuff that are related to the game and how she plays the game. And it's very interesting to see like both. And I really enjoyed our character. This one, I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a mystery. I was told that there was a murder of a game player, and I thought it was going to go around that, and that our character was going to be interviewed or something like that. It is not the case. So if you're looking for a mystery, that's not exactly the case. There is a tiny bit of a mystery, but and I don't want to spoil it because it is a short book, but it's not about that. I think this book manages to do something that is very, very important. I thought it was going to be a lighter read. It is, but it isn't at the same time. The microaggressions in this book, it's pretty much the point of the book. It was so good. It was very frustrating to read. I kept being pulled in and out of this story all the time, every 2 minutes, but it wasn't because it wasn't good. It was really because of the microaggressions, and like that's all you read. And when you have a break of those, you think it's gonna go for the best, and it doesn't. It comes back. So yeah, I think the author did a brilliant job here. Obviously, I'm not own voice, so don't take my word for it. I think it was done beautifully. It's not moralizing, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's a word in English, but I'm gonna use it anyway. And I don't feel like it was something that was too moralizing for the reader that might have these behaviors. I think it was brilliantly done. And it was trying to show how that can affect someone, that type of behavior can affect someone, and how ridiculous it is. And sometimes like people do stuff or say things that they don't realize how ridiculous it is, and that what they're saying is actually a microaggression. So yeah, I enjoyed it because of what the author was trying to do with this book. And I think the author really succeeded. It was brilliantly done. I did manage to guess the final twist, but I don't care. It was really, really good. And another thing that I really, really enjoyed and appreciated of this book is also how the characters really acted like teens. So this is a YA novel, and a lot of YA novels have characters that are aged as a teenager, but they act as a 20, 25, 30-year-old adult, which is kind of annoying to me. but this really reads as teenagers being teenagers. So I really appreciate that. Strongly recommend if you haven't picked it up yet. 5 stars. Easy. The next book I read for secrets is Aristotle and Dante Discovers the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alir Science. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but yeah, this was very popular a couple of years ago. Actually, when I started discovering booktube, that's like one of the first books I put on my Goodreads list. It was very, very hyped. I decided to pick it up. I picked it up on my reader, and I'm actually really glad that I picked it up there and that I didn't order it. This has LGBTQ plus a rep in here, and it has a Mexican rep as well. So again, take my opinion as a grain of salt. Please go check On Voice reviews for these books. But I cannot talk about the rep. But I can say that I did enjoy this book. You follow guys, two teenage boys who meet and become friends, and you follow a little bit of their journey through their teenage years. And when I started this book, I heard about some, not scandals, but there was some controversy surrounding this author. And I digged up a little bit. I think it's important to be aware of those things. You can still read the books, like it's your choice to read them or not. I don't condone like cancel culture and canceling authors. I do think it's important that every reader has the choice to read or not, but I do feel like I have the responsibility to talk about it and to acknowledge that some authors may have been problematic. So in this book, so there's two things that I saw when I was digging. First of all, is that the author responded to a negative review, and it was an inadequate response. So there's that thing. I didn't read the response, but that's what I read about. And then the other thing that I saw was from another book, and people were saying that he was anti-trans because of characters that were anti-trans in his book. So there was mixed opinions on this, and it wasn't about the book that I'm reviewing today that I read, so I'm not going to talk more about it. There's a tiny bit, 3 lines where they talk about a trans teen, and that's it. So it's not about this book, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I still decided to complete the read of this book without tainting my reading experience with everything that I've read. So this book was very, very hyped. I know a lot of people enjoyed it, but I was a little bit disappointed. I don't know if I was expecting too much. I did enjoy my read. It was fun. It was cute. It was fun. Another YA book where the teenage characters actually act like teenagers, and you could feel the teenage anger and emotions that they can go through and irrational thoughts sometimes. And I really appreciated that because I felt like that part was very authentic. And I always appreciate when YA authors write their characters, their teenage characters, as actual teenagers. I love the relationships of our two teenage boys with their parents. I thought that was very healthy, and it was to have them around a lot. They were very present in this book, and I really appreciated that as well. There are some parts where some of those parents actually decided to do something, to hide something from the family, and they come back on that decision later on in the present day. So I appreciate that an author would portray parents making mistakes and acknowledging them and trying to fix those mistakes. So that I really appreciate. The thing that I didn't like as much is that it's set in the 80s, and I don't understand what was the point of writing a book set in the 80s when the actual context of the 80s had like no impact whatsoever on the plot, on the characters, on nothing. I mean, yes, the context is a little bit more anti-LGBTQ plus, but I mean, it's still present today in 2023. It was still present when it was published, I believe, in 2017. So like the 80s context wasn't very necessary in my opinion. They do talk about like some songs that were on the radio, and that's pretty much it. The like everything else that they were doing, they could have still done in 2017. So yeah, I that kind of bothered me. Um, a bit. And even the songs that I mentioned were songs like from the Beatles or something that is still very listened to this day. So yeah, it didn't have like a huge impact for me. So overall, I gave this book 3.5 stars out of 5. Next, I also was participating in the Choose Your Own Adventure by Book Roast. And for the month of March, I had to read a book that was over 500 pages. And for that one, I decided to count Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is another very hyped book from a couple of years ago. But this one is a reread for me. I love this book so much. It's my all-time favorite book of all time. The Blood Trials might dethrone Stranger the Dreamer. It's pretty close. Laszlo is a teenage me. I wish I could have read this when I was a teen because it would have made a whole difference in my life, for sure. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain the story more. 5 stars, all time favorite book. So, like, what else is there to say? It read really fast. I really enjoyed it as much as I did the first time. So yeah, I was confused at some point because sometimes your memory of a book can be altered. There was a part where I was wondering if there weren't any more of those parts. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't read it, but yeah, and it turned out that there were just a little bit further through the book. So yeah, I do understand, I think, with my second read, why some people find it slow paced. I don't find it slow paced, but I don't mind the flowery writing. I don't mind that it's slow. I don't mind that it's character driven. I love the characters so much that, like, honestly, I really don't mind. Lots of world building as well. And the world building in Muse of Nightmares, which is book number 2, is also really amazing. So, yeah. And the last book that I managed to read in March is Ray Bear by Jordan Ifueko. This is actually, ironically, the first book I finished, I think, in March, but it wasn't part of any readathon. This one follows Terasai, who was raised by tutors, and she was hidden. She did not have contact with anyone in this realm. It is fantasy. It is, I believe, YA as well. And the leader of this country in this fantastical world, he has a ray, and it binds. It's kind of weird when you explain it, but it binds. You can bind yourself to the ray, and they have a council of, including the ray bearer, which is the actual leader, and the son of the ray bearer can get the ray, and so on and so forth. And if you connect to the bond, you can become part of the council, and they kind of rule all together, and they can't live far from each other, otherwise they'll get sick. Yeah, the leaders is starting to build his own council. So Terasai is brought up there, and her mother, which she hasn't seen much during her childhood, asks her to kill the leader's son, the prince. So, and she's sent as a spy to be part of the council. So, lots of fun. It was so good. I was scared when I picked this up because talking about this ray thing was kind of weird. I didn't quite understand it. I didn't trust the magical system at all, to be fair, but so many people were raving about it. So, like, I trusted those people, those reviewers, and I'm so glad that I trusted them. It is so good. It actually makes a lot of sense when you read it, the magic system and all of that. And it does go throughout like many years, which I do appreciate. And our characters are so torn between like two things, and they don't know what to do, what choice to make. And I love that. I love when like there's no clear path of what to do and what decision to make, and where do you go from there, and what are the solutions. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm with the characters. They don't know, and I don't know either. And it's stressful, but so satisfying to read. I love when that happens. Amazing characters, amazing world building. It reads really fast. I was scared it was going to be hard to read, but like the writing flows so easily. Great pacing. I cannot wait to get to the second book. And obviously, this was another 5 stars. So, overall, great reading time. Amazing books this year. I'm really happy with that. Cannot wait to see what the rest of the year has in store for me. Yeah, I felt like I give a lot of 5 stars, and I've been thinking about that a lot. And I think that I'm going to change a bit my star rating, because like some 5 stars are not necessarily at the same level as other 5 stars that I give, but I feel like I can't give those books less than 5 stars. I know that Bethany from Beautiful Bookish Bethany, I think her channel name is, she does a 6-star system, and they give 6 stars to books that are over the top favorites of all time. They're like over the 5 stars, and I think I'm gonna start doing that. So to give you an example from the books I've read this month, I would give both Raybearer and Strange Dreamer 6 stars, which is just top tier. And Slay would stay at 5 stars. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let me know in the comments what you think about that star system, rating system. I would love to know. Let me know also what you read during March. If you've read any of these books, how did you like them? I would love to continue chatting with you in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe if you wish. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.